So you want to travel, right? And you need to book flights. Today I want to talk with you how you can always get the best deal. Because if you want to travel, especially like far away, a lot of times people are paying way too much and they could have saved so much, and I see it all the time that people don't really know what it comes down to get the best price. So in this video I am going to tell you how very recently I bought a flight from Europe to the United States for like a little over €100. And I'm gonna tell you the strategy behind it, because I do that all the time. Not every time I get such a deal, but it's always cheaper than usual. So let's go. One thing I want to get right out of the way, because this advice is not suitable for everyone. If you are someone who needs to go on like a business trip, you need to be on specific dates in a specific location, there's not much that you can do. You just have to pay whatever they tell you. But if you are flexible, if your goal is to travel the world, to see a lot of places, and you kind of have an idea of where and when you want to go, I'm gonna tell you right now how you can save at least half the price, sometimes even more. So let me just give you a few examples of the last few tickets that I bought just a few weeks ago. So this summer in August I'm going to Ukraine, and from there I'm going to Los Angeles, California, to the United States. And usually the tickets from Europe are starting somewhere at like close to €300, so more than that in dollars. And sometimes they're even like 400, 500, 600 one way, always one way. And I managed to pay €129 to go from Europe to California, Los Angeles, and to be specifically from Stockholm, Sweden to LAX, Los Angeles. So let me tell you my strategy behind flight booking. I would say the thing that most people are doing wrong is they are too specific on where they want to go and when they want to go if their goal is to travel. So what you need to do is you can have like an idea of where you want to go and you start from there. The platform that I like to use, and in my opinion is the best platform to use, I found like over the years this always worked the best for getting the best price, is Skyscanner. And the special thing about Skyscanner is that you don't just type in from where you want to go, airport A to airport B, and the date. You can actually type in like a whole country. Like let's say you're leaving from Germany, like in my case, and you want to go to the United States, or you want to go to Sydney, you want to go to Australia, or somewhere like Southeast Asia. These are like the destinations that I was looking for. And then you don't you don't have to put in specific dates, because usually people are saying like, yeah, let's say for example I want to go on the 10th of July, and then they put in like 10th of July plus minus 3 days. And this is what you're gonna get. You're gonna get the prices in this price range. But if you really want to find the cheapest price, and they can differ by like 50% and more, you need to look for like June, July, August, and maybe even September. And this is what you can do on Skyscanner. On Skyscanner you can compare like every month of the year to find like the best time to travel to this specific destination. And with that you can plan. Like if you want to plan out your trip like half year ahead, then you can say, whoa, first I'm gonna go to somewhere in Europe, and from there I'm gonna go to the United States like a month later. You need to be flexible on from where you're leaving, and also to where you are going, and when you're leaving, and also when you're coming back. And I know this may sound kind of weird, because what do you mean from where am I going? I'm going from where I live. Like if you live in Germany like I did, and you say, well, I'm leaving from Germany. But if you have like this mindset, then you're not gonna get the cheapest flight. Because what I was doing, I might leave from Germany, but also in August I'm gonna be in the Ukraine. So let's check the flights directly from Ukraine to the United States. And there you see, it's even more expensive than Germany. But how about Poland? Let's check out Poland, because Poland is just like a 5 to 10 hour car drive, or bus drive, or car sharing, whatever. And you can get pretty easily there. So that's what I did. And from Poland to the United States, they have been a price for like €190, I think. And this was by far the cheapest one. But the thing there is, they had like a layover, I think a 20-hour layover in Stockholm, Sweden, and then from there you were going to LAX with a direct flight. So I said to myself, well, it is really a good deal, like €200, but I don't want to have like this huge layover. So what I did is I checked the flights separately. Then I just put in like Poland in Skyscanner to Stockholm, how much is that gonna cost me? And there have been different cities, so I chose the cheapest city, and in my case this was Warsaw. And from Warsaw to Stockholm I can go for like €20. And from Stockholm to LAX, the end flight, I checked it on the airline itself. This is what I like to do as well. On Skyscanner I first find the airlines that offer cheap flights, and then I go directly to the airline and I see if they offer the same prices on their own website. And in this case, it was that. It's not always like that. Sometimes if you check the flights separately and not combined, as the search engine of Skyscanner combines it, it may be more expensive. But in this case, you could really split these two flights. So that's what I did. From Stockholm, Sweden, we're leaving on the 7th of September. And like on the 4th, we are leaving from Warsaw, Poland. So that means we have, on purpose, 3 days in Stockholm. Because anyway, we're gonna be there, so why not as well just see the city if we have the opportunity. And also, we get to see Warsaw, because if we would have just flown from Germany, probably wouldn't have went to Warsaw. So we have 2 cities that I can visit. And we are also saving money on flights actively, because the flight, if I would have booked it all together, it would be like €190, and now it is like 160. So we are saving money, and we are using the layovers to actually see some places that we wouldn't have get to see. And you probably know that as well. Like if you have ever booked flights to some place that is a little bit more further away, then you have noticed that you have layovers, and sometimes they can be very long, and you think to yourself, hey, I could just like go out and check out the city, but no, you don't have enough time, and you just end up like, you know, dying in the airport almost, you know, depending on how long your layover is. And this is the approach that I take pretty much every time. Every time I see that to go to a destination for a direct flight I have to pay really a lot, but like for a combined flight it is cheaper, then I go on the specific airlines on their own websites and I see if I can book the flights separately. And very often you get either the same price or even a cheaper price if you do like the combination of the flights yourself and not let the search engine do it for you, because the airline that we're flying with from Poland to Sweden is a different one that was offered by the system, and it's a cheaper one. So this is what you need to do. Put in the different countries and check in on all of the months. Even if you're like fixed to a month or you may be on vacation or whatever, choose the order. Which place would be cheaper to go first and then second and then last? And also let's say if you want to go to Australia, I see a lot of people that are saying, oh, to go from Europe to Australia is really so expensive, and don't get me wrong, it is like starting from like 500, 600 euro one way. But if you check in on every month and if you look to where their flights are going, like usually you have a layover somewhere in Asia, Southeast Asia is an amazing place to go. Never been there, but I'm gonna be soon. And what you can actually do is you can pay like 200 to 300 euro, like if you're smart and check out all the dates and all the departure places, then you can actually pay like 200 to 300 euro to first get to Thailand or Philippines or Bali, Indonesia. And from there, first you have there a good time for a week or two because staying there is very cheap. And then you're going to Australia for a flight that costs like 100 to 200 euro. Like really from Thailand, you can go to every city below 200 euro. And in the end, you're probably gonna save money. This is number one. I mean, you see, I'm always talking about the same stuff. You're probably gonna save money. You're gonna save layover time, and you're gonna actually actively use it by seeing a country and getting to places that you wouldn't have gotten in other scenarios. And another few things that you have to keep in mind is number one, whenever you buy a flight, check on the luggage, because there are even some airlines out there that don't allow you to bring in carry-on without a special fee. Next one would be don't buy tickets on the weekends, because sometimes you get the same deal but usually the prices are higher because the websites notice there are a lot more people looking for flights, so they bump them up. Rather look on a Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, usually you get a better deal. And the last thing is delete your cookies. If you don't know what cookies are, basically your search, whatever you're searching for, it's saved, and the websites adjust, like they can adjust the prices. So if you're always looking for, like, let's say London to Los Angeles, they might bump up the price and lower it again just to make you buy the ticket and maybe even make you pay more. There's a lot of evidence for that in the internet. It doesn't happen always, but sometimes it does. So don't let them fool you and get the best price. But this is just like some extra advice, because like the very big thing is be flexible about where you're departing from. Check out the countries that are nearby, or the states if you're like from the United States or whatever. And also be flexible about the dates. And if you want to go to not one destination but two different countries, then see which one would be cheaper to go first, and also use your layovers, because this is an opportunity to see so much of the world and not spend the time like sitting in the airport. You get the opportunity to save money and get to places you wouldn't have gotten with basically not paying anything at all. Tell me where you want to travel in the next few months, maybe years. What is on your bucket list? And as always, in the description box I'm gonna put in some useful links for you when you can save some money when you're on your trip. And I am leaving just very soon, so if you want to tune in for my travel vlogs, like we're gonna be in the Ukraine. This is like the best affordable travel destination in Europe, in my opinion. I'm gonna do a video about that as well. Then we're going to the States, and then we're going to Asia. So if you want to have some practical advice on how to travel on a budget, or just want to join me on this trip, subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. And I'm out. Peace.